Hey, it's Shelley from Best Buy Canada's blog, and this week I'm here with my espresso maker, and I'm going to teach you the 8 steps required to make espresso.
So this is my Breville Duo Temp Pro Pump espresso machine. This is a 15 bar pump, low pressure, pre-infusion and programmable shot espresso machine. So it has a thermocoil heating system, and that means that it can get the water temperature to exactly the water temperature that you'd like to have, and it has all metal construction, so even the portafilter is stainless steel. I have everything I need here to create the perfect cup of espresso, and I have my cup ready to go.
So let's start with what espresso is exactly. Espresso isn't just strong coffee. It's not just the coffee beans. Espresso is actually a coffee drink, so it's a way of making coffee. When you make espresso, it's called a shot. That shot is only usually 1 to 2 ounces, depending on how much you're expressing from your espresso machine. You can use that shot to make any other type of coffee beverage, from cappuccinos to lattes to Americanos. An Americano, you would just add water to your shot. A latte, you would add steamed milk. Most espresso makers will also have a steam wand, and I will show you how to foam milk after I show you how to make espresso. So you'll need 2 main ingredients to make espresso. The first thing you're going to need is ground coffee. The best type of coffee grinds for an espresso machine are beans that are just ground. So if you have a coffee grinder, that's your best option. You should grind them. The grind should be very, very fine. This one is very fine. These are espresso grinds. It's almost like powder, and if it was moistened, it would stick together. You'll also need water to make espresso, just like any coffee. I filled up my water reservoir. The best water to make espresso with is distilled water, so that there's no funky flavor coming from the water. And ice cold water is also best for your espresso machine. There's also a few useful terms that you're going to want to know before you're making espresso. One of those terms is tamping. This is a tamper. This comes with your espresso machine usually, and what you use this for is to level and press the grinds into the filter. This is a portafilter, just portable filter is why it's called that. This connects to the belly of the espresso machine. You lock it into place, and water is pushed through your coffee grinds and extracted into your shot. You'll also hear the term dose when you're making espresso. Dose refers to how many grams of coffee you'll be using in the filter to make your shot of espresso. So usually people make a double shot. This is a double shot filter. It has 2, you see on the bottom, it has 2 shots indicator. So you put that inside of the portafilter, and you're ready to make espresso. So when you turn on your espresso machine, it will start heating up your water. As you can see, there's a heating button on my espresso machine. This is a manual espresso machine, so everything's done with a dial. You can also find espresso machines that are automatic or super automatic, and they will do everything for you. With this machine, the approximate water temperature, it will heat up to about 200 degrees. So I've had this one plugged in for about 20 minutes now, and it's actually warm to the touch. I can feel it's actually really, really warm on top. So it is ready to make espresso or steamed milk or hot water. Some espresso machines will let you adjust the water temperature if you'd like it even hotter than 200 degrees. But with these types of machines where they're manual, you just trust that your espresso maker will make it the water as hot as 200 degrees. You'll also hear the term yield when making espresso. The perfect espresso shot's around 2 ounces. So you can do 2 ounces within a shot glass. I don't have my espresso shot glasses here right now, but I do know just from how often I've made espresso, how much fits in this espresso glass, and how much I need to extract before I turn off the dial. So there are 8 steps to making espresso. The first step is to fill up your water reservoir. On this machine, the water reservoir is portable. It pops right out. You can take it to your your filter wherever you do filtered water, if you have a water cooler or something, and you just push it back in and it's ready to go. The next step is turning on your machine so that your water heats up. So I've already had my machine running, as I've mentioned, but that's what the sound is when it's turned on. Usually that heating light comes on, but it's not going to come on right now because it's warm, and it's showing me that it is ready to make steam. And if I clicked on this, hot water. It only took a few minutes for this machine to heat up, and it continues to heat up. Some machines are even faster than that, but as long as your heating button is not on anymore, you're ready to go. So the next thing, experts do recommend that you push some water through empty portafilter. So I'm just going to lock my portafilter into place. And it's in place now. And I'll slide my cup under. And I've been told that to make the best espresso, you should just extract some water into your cup. And that will clean out any grinds that you might have left over. I do have some grinds that appear to be discoloring my water, but that also heats up the internals of the machine so that every part of your machine is ready to make espresso. You can see how hot the water is just by the steam coming off the portafilter. So now that I've had the portafilter is ready and the filter is ready and everything's ready, next you add your coffee grinds. So you can just add them, level them off. I'll just use my finger to show you. So it's fairly level already, but what you'll have to do next is tamp it. So I will take the tamper and I will press down on the coffee grinds. And as you can see, they're level. I find it's best to avoid getting grinds in your cup to remove anything that pops off on the edge there. So now we're ready to attach the grinds to the espresso machine and lock it into place. So the volume of water that you'll use for each shot is 1 ounce. This is a double shot filter, so it's going to produce 2 ounces of coffee, which is a double shot of espresso. So I'm just going to turn it on and I'm going to eyeball it because I do know how much 2 ounces is in this cup. So there's on the dial, you can see that that's steam and that's coffee. So that's 2 ounces in my cup. So now that I have my double shot of espresso, what am I going to do with it? So you can make, as I mentioned, cappuccinos. You can make Americanos. If I added hot water to this, I'd have an Americano. You can also make lattes. So I'm going to show you how to make steamed milk, and I'll add that to my espresso shots, and we'll make a latte. So for best practices for cleaning your espresso machine, you would take this out immediately. You would add the coffee grinds to your compost because it's amazing for compost, and you would rinse out your portafilter and your double shot filter. Although any type of milk will foam, you will find that some foam better than others. So if you're going to make latte art, you're going to make some hearts or something, whole milk is really good for that. You can also steam almond and coconut milk, although you will not get as much froth with that. I generally use 2% milk, and the 2% milk gets a nice layer of foam because I like the foam. I've made heavy use of my steam wand, so it always tends to get a little corroded with milk for me, but it still works great. So we're going to insert the milk. I like to pull my steam wand out so that I have the flexibility to maneuver the cup of milk, and I'm probably steaming milk completely different than a lot of people. I don't do latte art. I just like to make sure that the entire contents of the milk is steaming hot and has a nice layer of foam. So make sure that you have it set to steam and not hot water if you have the same machine as I do, or if your machine is similar. And then you will pull out your wand and set it to steam and wait for it to kick in. You'll see that on my machine the heating light will come back on. You can see the steam coming off the cup of milk, so I've steamed it well. As I mentioned before, I mean, I'm definitely not an expert at steaming, and I know that there's ways to get a better head of foam, but this is how I like to steam my milk. So you can stir the crema into the espresso before you use it, and then you pour your latte milk. And you have a latte. So I would add flavored syrup to this. I have a few different flavored syrups. One of my favorite combinations for lattes is 2 pumps of macadamia nut syrup and 2 pumps of coconut syrup. That makes what we like to call a nutty Hawaiian, and it's a delicious drink, hot or cold. So that's it for my step-by-step guide to making espresso. I hope that you enjoy your espresso maker as much as I enjoy mine. If you'd like to see my full written steps to making espresso, you can visit Best Buy Canada's blog. Thanks for watching.